Welcome to Reading the Bible with Pastor. Today we're on Exodus chapter 21, starting at verse 33. Last few times we've talked about laws that have been given to the Israelites. A set of laws were about the laws about slaves, and another set of laws about harming your neighbor. And in these laws that we're going to read about today is a law about restitution. And you can read that as our subtitle for this section as well. These laws kind of deal with what would happen if something happened to your neighbor or to your neighbor's property. How do you pay that back? When a man opens a pit, or when a man digs a pit and does not cover it, and an ox or a donkey falls into it, the owner of the pit shall make restoration. He shall give money to his owner, and the dead beast shall be his. This first little law about restitution here kind of gives us a format of what's going to happen in the future with what we're reading. Basically, we're restoring to the owner in proportion to what has been done. And here, it needs to be done in a fair way. If a beast falls into the pit and dies, right, the owner of the pit makes restitution, gives money to the owner, and actually takes the dead beast as his own, as if he bought the beast to begin with to sacrifice or to be eaten. And so that way, there's some equality, there's restitution being made, and everything is put back in the right order. When one man's ox butts another, so that it dies, then they shall sell the live ox and share its price, and the dead beast also they shall share. Or if it is known that the ox has been accustomed to gore in the past, and its owner has not kept it in, he shall repay ox for ox, and the dead beast shall be his. If a man steals an ox or a sheep, and kills it or sells it, he shall repay 5 oxen for an ox, and 4 sheep for a sheep. That's a pretty steep price there, but there was never an arrangement made. This was not an accident. This was actually going against the commandments and stealing and taking what is not his. So he has to make more restitution for that because he is breaking the law. If a thief is found breaking in and is struck so that he dies, there shall be no blood guilt for him. But if the sun has risen on him, there shall be blood guilt for him. He shall surely pay. If he has nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. If the stolen beast is found alive in his possession, whether it is an ox or a donkey or a sheep, he shall pay double. So if a thief breaks into the house in the night, and he is killed by the owner of the house, then nothing should be done. It's self-defense, basically. But if it's done during the daylight, and the point here is the owner of the house should be able to note who it is and who's coming and what they're doing if they're just stealing, right? If they're just stealing, then it shouldn't be, they should not kill this man, is what the text is telling us. At night, can't tell what he's doing, so if the man dies, that is what happened, right? Nothing should be done about that. But if he kills a man in the daylight, restitution should be made. We'll continue with verse 5. If a man causes a field or vineyard to be grazed over, or let his beast loose and it feeds in another man's field, he shall make restitution from the best of his own field and his own vineyard. If a fire breaks out and catches in thorns, so that the stacked grain or the standing grain or the field is consumed, he who started the fire shall make full restitution. If a man gives to his neighbor money or goods to be kept safe, and it is stolen from the man's house, then if a thief is found, he shall pay double. If the thief is not found, the owner of the house shall come near to God to show whether or not he put his hand to his neighbor's property. For every breach of trust, whether it is for an ox or for a donkey, or a sheep, or a cloak, or for any kind of lost thing, of which one says, "This is it," the case of both parties shall come before God. The one whom God condemns shall pay double to his neighbor. So if a neighbor gives to you something and is stolen, the thief is found, then the thief will pay restitution. If it is not, if not a thief, it goes away. We have to double check if the person who borrowed or kept the item is in breach of trust. Otherwise, there's other restitution laws that come into place, and we'll read about those. If a man gives to his neighbor a donkey or an ox or a sheep or any beast to be kept to keep safe, and it dies or is injured or is driven away without anyone seeing it, an oath by the Lord shall be between them both to see whether or not he has put his hand to his neighbor's property. The owner shall accept the oath, and he shall not make restitution. So if the item is lost and is lost legitimately, nobody was at fault or the thief was not found, then the oath between the neighbors is taken saying that they're not going to make restitution or seek restitution. But if it is stolen from him, he shall make restitution to his owner. If it is torn by beasts, let him bring it as evidence. He shall not make restitution for what has been torn. If a man borrows anything from his neighbor, and it is injured or dies, the owner not being with it, he shall make full restitution. If the owner was with it, he shall not make restitution. If it was hired, it came for his hiring fee. Basically, if the owner is with the borrowed item or animal, the owner should be able to spot what is being done wrong and save his property. And therefore, the borrower should not make restitution or pay back the owner for what is being done. But if the owner's not around, it is the responsibility of the borrower to keep the property safe. We'll continue to read about the laws that God gives to the Israelites here at the base of the Mount of Sinai. And we'll continue reading with chapter 22, starting at verse 16. As always, please subscribe to the channel and share this with others so that they may also read the Bible with Pastor.